Hey, Gathering Church. I wanted to talk real briefly about the Passover Seder this Saturday because there's still a few slots available if you want to register. It's from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. at the Redlands Conference Center, the same room we meet in on Sundays. We'll just have it set up differently. It is a meal, but we won't eat that meal until probably about an hour into the night, so you got to plan for that. If you get hangry, because there's parts of the Seder means service or order, so there's parts of the Seder, the service, that we do before we eat. And then here's what I wanted to say. So maybe we've done this the last 3 years if you've been around, either with the Gathering Church or prior to being at the Gathering Church. We did it 1 year while we were at Houston Church. And the question I get every year from people is, besides what it is are we trying to be Jewish? And so I just want to answer two questions there. One, what is it? And are we trying to be Jewish? One, this is a walk-through service or an order of service where we remember the Exodus from the Old Testament and the Passover that came with it, the sacrificing of the Passover lamb, putting the blood on the doors. And we remember that, and then we have a perspective that looks forward to how that points us to Christ, and then how that points us to even the return of Christ. And so the Passover is something that the people of Israel were commanded to do every year as a memorial to remember how God had delivered them from Egypt. All right, so that's the gist of it. So what we'll do is we'll have some things where we walk through basically remembering, retelling the story, and there'll be some interactive elements to that. It's very family friendly, and I think you'll enjoy that. Now, are we trying to be Jewish? No, you can't be Jewish if you're not Jewish. Some of you are Jewish. You've got Jewish lineage in your bloodline. If you don't have Jewish lineage in your bloodline, you can't become Jewish. That's a misunderstanding. What the scriptures tell us is that in Romans 11, that we who are non-Jewish by birth, we are Gentiles, we are grafted into the cultivated olive tree. We are wild olive branches, and we're cultivated we're grafted into the cultivated olive tree. We become part of the covenant people of Israel. Israel is not just a nation state. Israel is not just an ethnic people. It is those things throughout the scripture, but it's not just those things. It goes beyond that. It is a theological construct. Israel is a covenant people. So when we come to faith in Jesus, the Messiah, we become grafted into the covenant people of Israel, the people that God has had a covenant with for centuries. And so therefore, when we get grafted in to the covenant people of Israel, their history is now part of our history, because we look back at how God has redeemed his people out of slavery and from the hands of the gods of Egypt, and how he has judged the gods of Egypt and brought his people out from enslavement to the people of Egypt, to the rulers of Egypt, and how he did so by sparing them from his wrath, by them entering into a covenant through the Passover blood of the Lamb. Right? So we look back, and it points us to how God has redeemed us through his Passover Lamb, Jesus the Messiah. And then it also points us to the greater Exodus that we are still looking forward to, where God will gather in his people, and he will deliver us from ultimately the impact that sin has on all of creation. So that's what we're doing. And it is a very meaningful time, potentially, where we get to prepare our hearts for how God has worked so faithfully over the centuries to bring his people out of slavery by his provision of a lamb and the blood of the lamb through a covenant. That's what we're doing. It's a great time. It's different. If you have questions about it, it'd be a good thing to come participate in and just watch from afar. I think it'll help deepen your understanding and enrich your understanding of what God has done for us through the death and resurrection of Jesus. All right, so hopefully that's helpful to you. You can register by clicking on the link. I'll put that in the description of this video, and then probably also in the comments if this is on Facebook, and then also in an email if it's in the email.